What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. You know, a lot's been made about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire alongside Tom Holland. Just where could each one of these Spider-Men show up in the future, and will they ever team up again? But Spider-Man No Way Home made sure to, in an important moment, mention an important Spider-Man and Miles Morales. Now, while he's over and starring Into the Spider-Verse, eventually the obvious plans between Sony and Marvel are to introduce that character to live action, and now we're getting an update from one of the industry insiders that that's on the table for Spider-Man 4. We're going to break down exactly what he's saying and what that would mean for both Tom Holland and the future of the MCU if they introduce Miles. What happens with Tom Holland's Peter Parker? We're breaking it all down, but first, if you could consider hitting the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, reviews, and recaps, all the way to industry insider reports and everything in between. So, if that sort of thing's for you, consider hitting the subscribe button, leaving a comment down below. That'll automatically enter you to win all of our giveaways, like our next PS5. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. I'd also like to thank today's sponsor at Street Level Hero. Make sure to visit slhla.com for exclusive variant comic books with new drops every Tuesday and Thursday. Use code EVERYTHINGALWAYS to save 10% every time you shop. Now, real quickly, it's been a while since we've issued the normal take everything that doesn't come directly from Marvel Studios with a grain of salt, but with these industry insiders, it's really hard to tell. Yes, they have a public track record, which gives them a little bit more reverence than, say, an anonymous Reddit post, but you never know, and things change so much in the MCU, so just remember to take all of these things in stride. This coming from @ViewerAnon saying he's heard the plan and goal is for Spider-Man 4 to bring Miles Morales into the MCU. Peter would meet him, and while shaken post No Way Home, they'll bond over the course of the movie. Now, I think this requires a lot more setup than just Miles Morales showing up in the MCU, but remember, all the way back in Homecoming, there was a scene with Donald Glover that implied his nephew, Miles Morales, already existed in the MCU, which means he's seen the entirety of the Infinity Saga go down. He's well aware of who Spider-Man is. Well, he was well aware. Well, he still knows who Spider-Man is, but he doesn't know that he's Peter Parker. The point being, he's seen it all play out. He understands the relevance of Peter Parker in the MCU, what he's meant to that universe, and while I think it will bring up some sort of anxiety, is one going to replace the other? I think there's a lot more in store for Tom Holland's Peter Parker that involves the Spider-Verse, the live-action Spider-Verse, and what's going to happen. There was a quote from Kevin Feige all the way back in the day that said something along the lines of, and because Peter Parker has the unique power to travel the multiverse. Well, it turns out it's not that unique, because as luck would have it, Marvel Studios ended up steering the entirety of this phase into the multiverse. But I think he was referring to what can still happen with that Spider-Man, because I think undoubtedly, and this is just the bottom line for business, being meta here for a second and taking ourselves out of the narrative, Tom Hardy's Venom is a billion-dollar property. They're just about to release Morbius adjacent to that, along with the 1 or 2 part Aaron Taylor Johnson Kraven, which is set to go this later this year. The goal is to cross those villains in a Sinister Six of modern times, the Vulture, Scorpion, over with Tom Holland's Peter Parker. Tom Holland is their billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar franchise trilogy Peter Parker. Everyone's calling for the return of Andrew Garfield. Will he show up in Morbius? Where will Tobey show up again? Are we ever going to get a Spider-Man 4 or Amazing Spider-Man 3? We may. But in the meantime, the goal is for Tom Holland, that Peter Parker that they've poured all this money into in this agreement with the MCU, off the back of that purchase power, cross him over with their billion-dollar villains like Venom, not the other Spider-Man. So I think no matter how the narrative goes, you've got to take a step back, see the reality of what it means from the business side. Tom Hardy, Tom Holland is on the way. Whether or not that is Venom 3 or the next Spider-Man film or a Spider-Man film after that, doesn't matter. That's the plan from my opinion and standpoint, and I think it's really hard to argue against that. Andrew Garfield could still show up in Morbius. Hey, there still may be a live-action trilogy movie on the way for them with how big a hit this was at the end of No Way Home, but in the meantime, you don't pour all this money into those two properties, those two actors, not to eventually have them cross over if you can. And fortunately for Sony, the way they set it up with Marvel, they can. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below about all of this. What's the hype level for Miles? How do you think they coexist in the MCU? Do you agree with what I think the obvious plans are for Tom Holland's Peter Parker? And when is this all going to come to a head? When will we finally see him? Will it be Kraven? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments quickly. Let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. go. We're still giving away PlayStation 5s en masse up to 1 million subscribers. We're already halfway to the next one. We're giving that one away at 940 and every 20,000 subscribers on the way up. So if you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name is Michael Roman. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can find me on all platforms making original music under All Fires. Thanks for checking out the channel. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.